In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a slip stitch, which is also known as a blind stitch. It's commonly used in hems because you'll only be able to see a little bit of your stitching on the outer side of your garment. So let's get started. Here I have my scrap fabric that I'm going to be practicing my slip stitch or blind stitch on in this hem right here. Now what I'm going to do to get started is I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to put it underneath this folded part of the fabric here and bring the needle straight up this way. The reason why I do that is because I tuck my knot from the end of my thread inside this fold so it stays hidden. Once I pull my needle through, I'm going to grab just a little bit of this fabric underneath. I'm going to pull my needle through again, and then I'm going to grab the folded fabric and go a little bit longer in distance and then pull my needle through, go onto this bottom part of the fabric again and just pull a little bit of the fabric, pull the needle through, and then do the same thing on to back to the fold. So I'm going to grab fabric but go a little bit longer in distance, then a little bit of the one that's underneath. And the reason why I do this is because I need to keep moving forward, but I can go faster and greater distance on this inside fold because this is going to be on the inside of my garment and you're not going to see it. But on the outside, we want to see as little of the stitch as possible, so we can only grab just a little bit. That's why it's called a blind stitch, because we don't really want to see that much of it. So I'm going to be using brown thread to do this so you can see the stitching that I do and make it a little bit easier for demonstration. So I'm going to get started here. And I'm going to, from underneath, pull through the folded part of the fabric. And I'm going to tuck my knot in there so we can't see it anymore. I'm going to grab just a little bit of this fabric underneath. I'm going to grab just a little bit less. Pull my needle through. Just careful not to grab onto that pin there and take that out. All right, now I'm going to grab the folded part of the fabric again. And I'm going to grab a little bit more of the fabric than I would normally for the bottom one. Pull the needle through. And grab just a little bit of the fabric underneath. Okay, grab the folded fabric and I'm just going to keep going back and forth. So when I'm on the folded part, remember I can grab more fabric than if I would if I was on the bottom piece. So that way I keep moving forward and it doesn't take me as long as it could. Grab a little bit of the fabric underneath, pull it through. Grab the folded part. Now if I was doing this for real with this color fabric, I probably would have picked white, just so it blends in a little bit more and then you really don't see that much of it. You can see a little bit here where I started off, but now that I'm really getting moving here, it's starting, you just see like a little bit, just barely. And that's the way it should be. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a little bit more. Then I'm going to flip it over and show you the other side so you can see what it looks like on the right side of the fabric. So what you would see if it was at the bottom of one of your garment pieces. And you want to pull the thread tight, but not so tight. If you start really yanking on it, then it'll start to bunch up down here. It'll start getting like a wavy look to it, and you don't want that. You just want it to lay nice and flat. All right, so I'm going to flip this over. And so it's actually really hard to see here. I have one little stitch here, one here, one here, one here, one here, and one here. But this is how you want it to look. You want it to be able to barely see. And now if this was white, it would probably really be hard to make out. You'd use this type of stitch if you were working with fabric that's maybe kind of silky, kind of flowy, because if you do a machine stitch hem, it gives it the end of your fabric kind of a heavier look, more of a crisp look, and this just keeps it nice and light and soft. So you would also do that if you know, for your preference, if you didn't really want to see the hem. But that's how you do a blind stitch.